When you receive a writing assignment, don't do something dangerous, like start writing. But this is a writing assignment. What else should I do? Find the task word before anything else. Why? Because the topic is only what you're writing about. The task word tells you how to write about it. Consider these 3 assignments. Describe the effects of social media. Analyze the effect of social media. Evaluate the effects of social media. All 3 have the same topic, effects of social media, but each requires a different response. Why? Because each assignment contains a different task word, which in turn requires a different kind of writing: description, analysis, and evaluation. So, before writing about any topic, ask the key question: what is the task word? Important hint: a teacher's favorite task words are analyze, argue, compare, describe, discuss, evaluate, explain, reflect, summarize, and synthesize. These task words shape the structure and direction of your essay. They determine what thesis you need, what evidence you should use, what organization the paper can follow, and what the paragraphs must accomplish. In other words, a task word provides the blueprint for your essay. Example: suppose your assignment says, describe the stages of the writing process. Topic: the writing process. Task word: describe. So, the teacher isn't asking you to prove the writing process is effective. You're not being asked to argue one stage of the process as more important than another. You're being asked to describe it. So, a possible thesis might be, the typical writing process is a series of steps: planning, drafting, revising, editing, and proofreading that develop and improve writing. Notice what the thesis does. It responds directly to the task word and leads naturally to an outline. Body Section 1, planning. Body Section 2, drafting. Body Section 3, revising. Body Section 4, editing. Body Section 5, proofreading. Once you identify the task word and compose your thesis, the assignment organizes itself. Another common task word is analyze. For example, analyze the effects of social media on communication. You begin by identifying the topic and the task. Topic: effects of social media on communication. Task: analyze. Because the task word analyze means to break something into parts and examine how they relate, this assignment requires more than simply describing the topic. If you write paragraphs describing social media platforms, such as Instagram, TikTok, and Snapchat, you might provide wonderful details about each, but you would fail the assignment. Why? Because you will have only described them, not analyzed their effects. To analyze, you must identify something's important parts and examine those parts individually. Consider this thesis, for example. Social media has changed communication by increasing the frequency of interactions, encouraging shorter communication, and reducing face-to-face interaction. Now the thesis reflects the task word and guides the essay structure. Body Section 1, increased frequency of communication. Body Section 2, shorter communication. Body Section 3, reduction of face-to-face interaction. Final example. A common writing task word is compare. For example, compare online classes with traditional face-to-face classes. The writing topic is online classes versus face-to-face classes, and the task is to compare, which means to examine similarities and differences. A weak response to this topic might simply describe online education for several paragraphs and then describe classroom education for several more. That response may contain useful information, but it doesn't provide any meaningful comparisons, so it fails. To successfully respond to the task word compare, the writer must identify specific points of comparison. For example, online and face-to-face classes differ significantly in scheduling flexibility, classroom interaction, and the amount of independent learning required. This thesis provides 3 clear points for comparison: scheduling flexibility, classroom interaction, and independent learning. These three become the essay's three main sections. Again, the task word leads to a framework for organizing the essay. In conclusion, remember that a topic tells you what to write about. The task word tells you what to do with it. Identify the task word and build your outline accordingly.